Hey everybody, and welcome to Binder Minder, and it is another day with another Magiccon festival in the box. We didn't get to go to Magiccon Atlanta, even if it was nearby. I'm pretty antisocial. I don't know if I end up going out to it or not. But what we do have available is we have the option to buy these festivals in boxes. And if you've never seen these pop up on the Secret Lair website. They don't last very long. Inside, we're going to find a Mystery Booster 2 box for drafting, but there's a lot of cool stuff in them. We're just going to open it up. And then there's going to be a secret layer, and then there's also some bonus cards, some promo cards. And the promo cards for this set, for Atlanta, are pretty cool, pretty interesting. There's going to be an Ur Dragon in a future site. And there's, I think it's a first sliver. So a couple cool cards, especially if you're building decks that are around those things. And then there's also a few other things, like there's a lightning bolt and things like that too. So try not to run into you. There you go. So here's our promo stuff right there. We got the Roadshow Edition Secret Lair. And then we got the Mystery 2 box. So I'm go ahead and get all this situated here. Start off with the promos here. Yeah, honestly, that's pretty cool in itself. The sliver. They always make one of these test cards specific to the event. The promo cards and the secret layer are all exclusive to the event as well. So they won't reprint these again, but you can get them at the event and in addition to in this. And then that secret layer is going to have one bonus card. So Spaghetti Junction, no big surprises. It's Atlanta. If you've ever been near Atlanta, driven through it, it's a mess. So they kind of, as far as traffic goes, they kind of tease that with Spaghetti Junction. So we got the big one here is the Ur Dragon. It's still pretty early. When I looked at the price of this one earlier, it's like $60 some right now. To be fair, I think that this is going to eventually be probably around the price of the regular Ur Dragon cards, which is in the like low 30s. Scourge of the Valkus, and then this Lightning Bolt. These are all in foils too, so they're pretty cool. Can't go wrong with Lightning Bolts. Lightning Bolt's one of those cards that kind of like my Birds of Paradise, where I've seriously considered trying to collect them, but there's just so many. It'd be a little overwhelmed to try to jump into. All right, so we got the Roadshow Edition Secret Lair, Magiccon. This is for Atlanta. Hope everybody's been doing well. Been looking forward to this one for a while. So we ordered these things, and it's been like a month since I ordered it. So you got a little bit of a wait. And this one specifically, I was pretty excited about the art on these. I mean, I like the Mystery Booster boxes as well, but even just these layers. As I'm opening this morning, they announced the Play-Doh Secret Lair that's coming at the end of the year or end of the month. That one's probably gonna take a while to ship because it's a print to order, but I'm pretty excited about that one as well. So we got Pack Rat in foil, Shared Summons, Sylvan Library, or Offering, sorry, Sylvan Library, Sylvan Offering, and then the big card here is Sliver Legion. I really do like the art on these things. And then the bonus card, we got an Island. So this, if you've seen, you might have seen these before. These lands were available in the Galaxy Foil, the last Galaxy Foil Secret Lair. The Aurora or whatever. These things are crazy expensive. I just looked up the Forest earlier, just the Forest, and the Forest are like $23, $24 for a Forest. The Swamps are more than that, I think, but these are really cool. The problem is these are really cool, and they're only available as a bonus card. And it's kind of a shame because those would have been a really good layer, to be honest. Allow people to be able to buy more. Because, I mean, if you buy these, for one, even if they were cheaper, if they're $6, you're not going to want to buy a whole deck's worth of land for $6 each. that really adds up quickly. And when they're $20, my God, you know, way too rich for my blood. Anyhow, Mystery Booster 2s. If you've never seen these, like I said, they designed these to be drafted. I wish we were drafting it, but we're not. We're just going to open it up and see what we get. The way this works, each pack is going to have 3 unique things, and the rest of the cards are all list cards. You know, kind of like what you used to get in packs. The list cards, there's a whole variety of stuff you can get. Some really good cards you can get in list cards. I think this set in general has like 800 cards or something. It's a crazy number of cards that you can possibly get. So there's a whole lot of variants. Beyond that, though, there's going to be a future sight, which is kind of like what we saw here. These are future sights. There's going to be a white bordered card. And then there's going to be a test card at the end, like that one. So there's going to be the test card as well. None of the test cards are worth anything anymore. There used to be a couple of them that were worth a few bucks, but I think the most expensive ones are like 80 cents. So, not really worried about the test cards at all. The funny thing is, though, is we're going to open these things up, and I'm probably going to be like, oh, it's kind of a bummer. There wasn't really anything too crazy. And then when I go to scan this stuff, the list cards just always come out of nowhere. There's so many uncommons and stuff like that that are just going to surprise us. So, as far as the future sites go, these boxes typically have 1 foil. It is possible to get 0 foils. It's possible to get 2 foils, but most times they have 1 foil. So that foil is the biggest, it's probably going to be the biggest hit we get. So we'll keep an eye out for that foil. The last time I got it, it was the second to last pack as you go through the stuff. So, you know, grain of salt. I've seen it in that same spot a few times now, but anyhow, let's dive in. We don't have too many packs to open up, but so we got, I'm not going to read out all the cards. Posture of the Sixth Pride, though. Mountain Valley, interesting. Charming Prince. So I'm going to separate all the rares. I'm going to separate the white borders and the future sights. And yeah. So rare, white border for Nox Survival, Ball Lightning. And then these as well. I guess I can separate these just so we don't have to deal with them later. The rest of these, though, there's going to be some cards that were some stuff. We'll just have to dig through it and find out. I don't think that Charming Prince is worth anything. Banishing Light. There's just so many old cards. So many cards that, you know, we haven't seen in forever that are in here. Patchwork Automation, that might be good. I'm not sure. Teferi card. Dryad Arbor. It's interesting. And then Hogak, Arisen Necropolis. Every time I order one of these mystery booster boxes, these festival one boxes, I open it up, and then when I look at the value on that with, I'm like, man, I really should order more than one. I regret it every single time. I imagine it's going to be no different this time. The good thing is that means we're actually getting pretty good deals. So, did I miss the rare last time? I think I missed the rare last time. Kaluth Unrivaled Ancient, Thopter Foundry, and a Singar Vampire. Interesting. Right, let me look back here for the rare before I go too far. Definitely missed it. There it is. It's that Teferi. Abolish, Wash Away, Unstable Frontier. That's a good one. Asa, Tyrant of the Gyre Strait. I bought that Secret Lair one because it was cheaper, and this has gone back up in price as well. So not only is that a good pull, but it's a good usable card. Merchant Scroll for our future site. I got these things all messed up on that. How come you didn't tell me? Alright. Spirited Companion. Cabal Pit. Quicksilver Dagger. Jahora of the Gitu. I can't even say it today. It's a mythic though. Lavalin. Tenderwall. Tiggy. Deadly Disputes. Like I said, when I'm opening these things up, there's going to be somebody that I go past one and they're like, wow, that's such a good card. Yeah, we'll figure it out when I scan it. I know this Decanter of Endless Water. I don't know how many times I've needed these. They're not super valuable, but I'm glad to see it. Witch of the Moors. I've definitely seen that one. Transcendent Master. Elvish Reclaimer. Not too unhappy about that one. Yeah, this Value Town, by the way, this was pretty sure the test card for Starting City, wasn't it? Or at least it introduced the adventures from Final Fantasy for the lands. Teleria West. Hangerback Walker for a rare. Reliquary Tower. I like these. I like them in the white border. Most people don't. Winds of Change. Interesting. Prosperous Innkeeper. I think these are valuable. Could be wrong though. This is definitely one of those cards though, because it was from AFR that it's excuse me, it's needed reprints. Batwing Broom. Blatant Thievery. Ferredaxal Outcome. Serum Powder. I don't think I've ever seen that one. There's a ton of really good cards to pull. There's a couple of them that are only available in foils. Pull it up here. A couple of the big ones to keep an eye out for. So there's Urza Lord High Artificer in Future Sight, and that's only available in foil. That's like $320. Oracle of the Alpha. I would love to get that one. That one is also in foil. That's the one that's an arena card that allows you to bring in the Power 9 into your game, and those are selling for $241. Command Tower as a Future Sight is also foil only. It's $177. Titania Protector of Argoth. Gix Yawgmoth Praetor. Those are all over $150. Rusco Clockmaster is $85. Arcane Signet is $57. That's also only in foil. So there's a bunch of them. Reflecting Foil, Karn Legacy Reforged, Miri, Weatherlight Duelist. I'd love to get a white border Urza Saga. So this would be a third one that we're opening up, and that would be one of the few ones I'd love to get. And also a Dragon's Approach. because, you know, I like those cards anyhow. I'd love to get a future sight win for Frogify. Squeeze Embrace. Gideon, I know that's not worth anything. Flickering Ward. Once again, putting things in the wrong spot. Power Matrix. Muddle the Mixture. Always love seeing the old sliver cards in here. And that one I think might be worth something. I mean, I could be wrong, but it allows you to tap all of your slivers. So Prosper, that's a great pull. It's not super valuable. It's like $6 to $7, but this was from Adventures of Fallen, whatever it was, I can't remember now. But that set, it was only in the commander deck, and that's a great commander deck. Thought Vessel, and Urza's Bauble, and I just messed these things up again. My gosh. How about we do this? If I can't stop doing it wrong, we swap them around and see if I can, if that works. All right. Wouldn't mind getting a foil as well. That'd be a fun one to get. All right. Hydra Lash. Anger. Grist Hunger Tide. Ice Fang Codal. And Back to Basics. I think I've gotten this Back to Basics like 3 times now. Dissipate. Backlash. There's another AC. I'm not complaining. These are, oh, you see it? AC and an Urza Saga. What else is here? Show and Tell. I think that might be worth something too. We finally got the Urza Saga. How cool is that? It's definitely the best looking one, but of all the nice cards that I've had, I've never had an Urza Saga before. I've never put one in no deck because they're just high enough cost wise where I've been like hesitant to put one in. Now this AC though, now that I've got, well, this will be my 3rd one that I've got. It's a really good landfall commander. It's kind of, you know, like the standard commander though. I try to avoid doing what everybody else does, you know. I try to keep it a little different so that it's not boring when you got to play with people, but doesn't mean it's very good. Some of the good commanders are just good, you know. They're fun to play. Touch of Strength. I've seen this before. All right, Bishop of Wings. Dead Ringers. Dackmore Sorceress. Cleric class. This is definitely a pretty important card when it comes to life gain decks. I believe this might have only been available in the commander decks, so having it as a list card is good. Might be worth something. We'll find out, but Call of the Herd, Counter Squall, Phyrexian Scripters, Whiteout. I actually bought this card. I just love. It's just so ironic. It's just a white card. Temporal Orb. Yeah, the whiteouts. You know, there's no artist's name or anything on there. They're just like, yep, it's whiteout. It's white artwork. unsubstantiate wizard class. So I was going to say earlier that class. So this one, believe it or not, is one of those. It's another one of those cards from Adventures of Forgotten Realms, but it was only available in the decks, commander decks, and so really happy to see that one get pulled. I've wanted to use this in a few decks. I've bought a few, but you can only buy so many eventually. Overgrowth. This is Judgment, Desert, Bone Crusher, Giant. I feel like we've gotten a lot of Eldraine and Adventures of Forgotten Realms. There's another. Alright. Sakura Tribe Elder. This is Steve. You get a white bordered Steve. Classic card. City of Brass. That is a great pull. City of Brass in the Future Sight. Can't complain about that one. City of Brass is one of those cards that's extremely popular in higher power levels. I've pulled this exact one before, a long time ago, and I didn't keep it because it was worth so much, and then I always kind of regret it. It's like at some point I'm going to need, I need to step up and build some of these decks that are a little higher power level, but Feed the Swarm, not a valuable card anymore, but excuse me. Scrap Work Mutt, Penumbra Worm, Gold Vine Pick, Leah, Artful Provocateur, Flying Death Touch Lifelink. Other creatures you control with flying get +1/+0 whenever you cast an artifact or enchantment spell. Create a blue fairy creature token for flying. Thespian Stage. That could be a pretty important deck card. So you use this with I can't think of the name of the card now. The one that creates the 8/8. You use this to clone it and then get rid of it because with the legendary rule. All right, life tap for our Future Sight. We still have not found our foil. We are not guaranteed a foil, but typically you get one. I did get lucky last time, I think, and pulled 2. They weren't very good foils. I'd love to just get one good foil. Like one of the, like Urza would be great. That Oracle of the Alpha, I'd love to get that. Wake Thrasher, Day of Judgment, nice board wipe with a white border. If you're going to upset people with a board wipe, you might as well do it with a white border board wipe, And then we got Goblin Recruiter. Crossbow Infantry. Attempted Murder. It's kind of like the murder card, but it is an Infinity card. That's interesting. I didn't know that they even had cards from the unsets in here. Gemstone Mine. That's always a good one to see. Could be useful. Jahura of the Githog. We already got that once before. Snow-covered Forest. Not complaining about these. Snowlands. The white border ones are pretty cool. And then Counterbalance. Ruthless Trickster. Flame Javelin, Ram Through, Biogenic Upgrade. It's kind of cool. It's a cat, but in Italian. Oath of Nissa, Deathrite Shaman, and Pact of Negation. Wow, look at that, Pact of Negation. What a good pull. Can't complain about that one. I didn't mention it earlier, but that should be at least up there. And yeah, it's a $16, $17 card. That's not a bad pull for a Future Sight. That City of Brass is around $16, $17 as well. The real question is what do we get for our foil? Do we get a foil? Junkyard Jeeps. Thantis of the War Weaver. Hollow one. And then Swords to Plowshares. Not complaining about that one as well. Not a expensive card, but the one I like when they're playable like that. So we're down to 4 packs. This would be the second to last one if we were doing stacks. This is where I found the foil before. So let's see. Frogify, Power Sink, Reckless Charge, Wirewood, Surveyor's Encampment. It's a foil. Once again, I don't know, something, it must be that one slot they really like putting in there. So, and it's a red foil too. So we have Hushbringer for a rare, Skyclave Apparition. Let's see what we got here. Underworld Breach. That would have been a really good card before some of the bans. Still a great card though. In foil, not bad. Can't complain about that one. In fact, I'm gonna look it up. Underworld Breach in foil is $62. That is crazy. All right, keep going. Puppet Strings. I see another foil. There's another foil right there. And it's a black one. I wonder what it is. Maybe Gits. All right, Puppet Strings before I get too distracted. Hangerback Walker. We got Worst Fears. So what's our worst fears that this foil behind this is going to be? Contamination. Don't know too much about that one. At the beginning of your upkeep, sacrifice contamination unless you sacrifice a creature. If a land is tapped for mana, it produces black instead of any other type of amount. I don't think that's going to be great. Still, though, 2 packs in a row. Japanese or something. Look at the art. See the turtle chomping the lady? I think it's a lady. Look at the face. Kind of looks like a lady's body and like a dude's face. Corpse Augur. Fist of Flame. Load the back. Baloth. Mobilize. Ambush Commander for a rare. Leyline of Sanctity, and Demonic Consultation. I love that bunny. Really cool art. And then our last pack, let's see how we did. I'd say that with the 2 rares, or at least 1 decent rare, a couple big hits in there. I don't think they did too bad for this box as a whole, but one way to find out, you know. And that doesn't count any of all these things. And I know there's going to be some good hits in there as well that we've missed. Dolphy Embrace. Alright, I think we already pulled this one. Alela, Artful Provocateur. It's a mythic. Man, it'd be really good if that was a good card. But Thornbite Staff. And then Nalathan Dragon. Alright. Well, I'm going to clean things up here, get everything scanned in, sleeved up, you know the drill. All that stuff, and then I'll get back with you guys here in a few minutes. We'll see you then. All right, I'm back. Everything's been scanned in. Everything's been sleeved up. We're all ready to go. It may have only been a second for you, but it takes a little while. There's a lot to sort through, and when I get everything ready, I go ahead and I get everything sorted into Uberg order and, you know, commons, uncommons, and all that kind of stuff. That way, when I'm done, I could just take it all right into the other room and get it all organized. Which, by the way, I should, at some point, do a little video on how I organize my stuff, because I think it's interesting that every Magic collector, player, fan, whatever, anybody that's got Magic, everybody organizes their stuff completely different. Even my wife and I have two different ways of doing it. Even though I'm the one that puts all of her stuff up and does well with that, she has one way that she wants me to do hers, and mine are done differently. So, anyhow, as always, these mystery booster boxes, you just looking through the rares or all of the big, what you think are the big hits, there's still a ton of other stuff. So, yeah, just make sure you're scanning your uncommons and commons with these sets. I know with some sets you can get away with not doing it. You cannot do it with a Mystery Booster 2 box. Anyhow, so for our uncommons, I believe, yeah, so our stack of uncommons, pretty good size. It's actually a little bit taller than a stack of commons. There's not too much as far as like the white bordered stuff in there. You can kind of see there's only one there, and I think there was two. I can see two on this one. Well, maybe there's three because two of them are together. But not too many commons, uncommons in those. We did pretty well. That doesn't count, of course, that we have like a snow-covered forest here. This is just so that I make sure I put it up in with my other lands. I sleeve it up. And I did have a... This is going to get all messed up. I did have a stack of lands. Not too many lands because you don't get basic lands except for in the white border. You usually get like one basic land and then a few of these type of utility lands. But I did get a few lands, some useful ones in there. Teleria West, Thespian Stage, the kind of lands that you're going to be looking for 3 years from now when you're trying to build a deck. And you're going to be like, wow, I actually have that land. I don't have to wait 3 weeks for it to show up, or I don't have to run uptown to get to the game store. So, of course, we got a big old stack, one for every card of these test cards. I think the test cards are awesome, but there's no value here. I'm not going to play these in the future. And the test cards that I'd like to play, because I really want to do something with Gunk. I don't know if you guys have ever seen Gunk, but Gunk is a mechanic that they had talked about making in the game originally. Garfield talked about it and then didn't implement it, and then they did a test card a while back, not in one of these mystery boosters, but like one of Gavin's events. They did a test card or two that implement Gunk, and I think Gunk would be fun to play with. I know that a lot of other people, when I've talked about it, most other people are not all that interested in it, but I think it'd be kind of neat. Anyhow, so with that in mind, we do have a stack of rares, pretty good sized stack. Nothing too crazy. These are all things that are under $1, but pretty good sized stack of rares left when it was all said and done. And then we'll dive into the other stuff. So this stack right here, other than this forest right here, because I'm just saving it, these are all the cards that are $1 to $2. These are the stuff that I save. I put aside. I've got a drawer that I save with a little $sign on it. These are just things that basically these have the potential to go up in price. A lot of those cards that are below $1, it's not that they don't go up in price, but these are the cards sometimes that kind of pop off. So then we have two stacks less. This one though, look at this. So the $1 to $2 stack versus the $2 and more stack. It's almost twice the size. It's crazy. So give me just a second. Let me go get these organized. That way we can run through them. All right, I got these all organized. I'll tell you, there's a couple cards, like Tenderwall, it's like $1.96. Muddle the Mixture, $1.93. There's a few that are like they almost should be in here. So anyhow, I was real excited to see Wizard Class get pulled. This is just because I use it. It's one of those cards that I use all the time. In fact, let me look here. I thought maybe it was a card I needed for a deck, but it isn't a card I need right now. It's for, I do have it in a couple other decks though. Anyhow, Wizard Class, great card. This is $2.03, and that just starts things off. We have Serum Powder. This is $2.22. Decanter of Endless Water. I love these cards. I use these a lot. $2.43, which I just can't believe how much they've gone up. Flux Channeler is $2.50. And then we got Reliquary Tower. That's $2.70 for the white bordered one. Bishop of Wings. If it's stuck together here, that's $2.91. Torpor Orb is $2.97. Goblin Recruiter in the Future Sight border is $3.53. Chain of Smog is $3.61. Noxious Revival is $3.67. Back to the Basics in the Future Sight is $3.71. Deathrite Shaman with the white border, love this card, is $3.82. Counterbalance in the Future Sight is $4.47. Urza's Bauble is $4.53. Reign of Faith is $4.68. Elvish Reclaimer is $4.84. And then we get into Mental Note, which is $4.93. And so here we have Submerge. Submerge is $5 exactly. And just look at this. These are the cards that are over $5. Like, not just over $2. So half these cards are still over $5. And we've got 2 of these Submerges. And I took a look at this. This is actually a pretty good card, too, because you can play it for free in most situations. If an opponent controls a forest and you control an island, you may play Submerge without paying this mana cost. Like in a Commander game, that's actually pretty darn good. So I might have to slip that into a couple of my decks, especially since I've already got 2 of them. Rebuff the Wicked is going to be $5.07. And that's, by the way, 1 mana cost counterspell for white. Yeah, for white. Just as long as it targets a creature you control or permanent control. That's pretty good. Batwing Broom, this is $6.06. And then, of course, we got Prosper, Tomebound. This is a great card. Great Commander, $6.61. Winds of Change, make everybody shuffle all their cards into their hand, from their hand into the library. Draw new cards at $7.12. And then we have Tortured Existence. Some may just say that's my life, but Tortured Existence is $7.24. Who knew my life was worth that much? Merchant Scroll is $7.49. Show and Tell is $8.57 in the Future Sight. Thorn Bite Staff. I've never even heard of this one before until pulling it here. $9.73 with the white border. The AC, Tyrant of the Gyre Strait. If you've never seen this, this is like the best landfall commander. At least it's up there. It's a great card. A little too strong in my opinion usually, but $10.56, and we got 2 of them. Not a bad card to throw into the 99 on a couple decks, even if I'm not going to run it as a commander. Demonic Consultation in the Future Sight with that awesome Demonic Bunny artwork. It's $15.10. Then we get into the juicy stuff. Pact of Negation. Again, counterspell, but you don't have to pay for it right now. So, great card. $16.55. City of Brass. $16.77. These are staples right there. Now, I had not seen this card, and I'm sure a lot of people are going to be like, wow, you didn't know what that is. Kaluth Unraveled Ancient. I had never seen this card before. This is $17.52. And once I read it, it makes sense. Whenever he attacks, add X mana in any combination of colors, where X is the total power of attacking creatures. Spend this mana only to cast spells. To end a turn, you don't lose mana as it steps and faces in. This would be a great commander. A lot of fun. I mean, right, just with this thing, you're getting 4 mana every time you attack. And that doesn't count anything else if you attack with more. Excuse me. Then we get into the good stuff. So we've got Urza Saga, $40.65. I've been wanting to pull one of these things. I've not been willing to buy one of these things. And yeah, I pulled it. I'm happy. How crazy is it, though, is that's not the top card. That is not the most expensive card that we pulled in this box. That would go to, well, Contamination foil, which looks amazing, by the way, $54.67. Still not the most expensive card in the set, or in my box. That would go to Underworld Breach. You get the foil Future Sight, which is $62.46. Even with its bans recently, it's $62. I'm sure if I'd looked, it was even more than that. That said, how did we do? Well, it's pretty obvious we did well, right? I've been due. I've needed a good box. Let me have this. I need it. That said, for the stuff that was over $1, I did $400.18. So everything over $1, $400 worth. Keep in mind, to buy a Mystery Booster 2 box just on TCG Player, $260. You can buy a couple of the festival in the boxes, like the Vegas one, for $280. So we did way more than that, even at those, higher prices. But we paid less than that. We paid $200 plus shipping and taxes, of course. But $200 for the whole thing. That includes the stuff we got over here. And we haven't even talked about this stuff over here yet. So, speaking of, well, actually, hold on. If you're curious, so it's $400 for the stuff that was over $1. But these things, the bulk, I wouldn't even call it bulk. The stuff that's under $1 here, there's a lot more stuff that's in that like 60-cent range, 70-cent range than in your average set, even in the commons. So our total for the box is $470 once you include the commons and uncommons as well. The stuff that, any of the stuff that's over or that's not over $1. So $470 for that. That's pretty darn good. That said, we do have all these cards to talk about, right? We're not even including those in that price, but we got two things going on here. Let me move these. I almost spilt Kool-Aid. I have my Kool-Aid here, and I definitely almost spilled my Kool-Aid on that stack. Can you believe that? So, for our promo cards, the set came before, right? So you get your Lightning Bolt and a Future Sight foil. You get Scourge of Valkans, I don't know. You get the Ur Dragon, Future Sight foil, and then you get the Spaghetti Junction. The Spaghetti Junction is not going to be worth anything. We don't need to worry about that thing. That said, let's look up a couple prices. So things get a little weird when it comes to these promo cards, because for one, keep in mind there are a lot of people that are buying the festival in a box to resell, to open up the boxes and to resell stuff for their shops, to sell packs, to just list up these boxes. I mean, they're selling them for $260 right now when you can buy this whole thing for $200, right? So like, there's a lot of people that are buying those things to resell, and when that happens, these promo cards, the stuff that's extra that comes with it, there are going to be a lot of people who are picking these things up that aren't interested in these cards specifically. So there's more kind of getting into the market, getting pushed to the market than normal. So the value of these things, typically, they tank, and then they slowly work their way back up once this set is not available, especially with a card like the Ur Dragon, where this is like one of the best commanders, one of the most popular commanders of all time. All the time, this is like one of the best, if not the best. Just depends on what's the flavor of the month at the time. This is going to be a card that goes back up in price. I know that. I'm not worried about it. Lightning bolts are weird. There's just so many of them. And there's so many variations, secret layers, you name it. All kinds of different cool looking lightning bolts. And I just don't know how well this lightning bolt is going to stay, right? Because Future Sight is not exactly something that a lot of people don't like Future Sight cards. I do. I think they're kind of neat. They're also a little bit weird, So, I mean, right now, because I'm opening this up ahead of time, right? Like, I got this early. I wouldn't say I got it too early, right? But I'm one of the first people to get these. So there's not that many of these listed right now. So this lightning bolt, for example, there's only 6 listed, and they're selling for $18. Do I think that this lightning bolt's going to continue to sell for that much? I don't know. I don't think so. I mean, to give you an example, the Strixhaven Japanese ones are $10. The Hadouken Street Fighter one is like $11. The Vivi from the Final Fantasy Secret Lairs, those are like $6. So like, I think this lightning bolt is going to hold its value to a point. I think it's probably going to be like $4 or $5 maybe, but it'll probably go a lot lower than that before then. Now, this Scourge of Falcon, if I could even say the card right, it's currently, this version, the retro frame in foil, is selling for $25. There's only 10 listings. Again, there's going to be more. But this thing has been on Secret Lairs. And now, to be fair, the Secret Lair version of this thing is wild looking. But that's like $37 for the non-foil version of that. Now, the regular version of this card is like $5, depending on what set you get it from. So we're going to see this end up somewhere between those two, right? Like somewhere between the 37 and I would imagine this version, because it's kind of unique, is eventually going to be more than the standard version of the card. But by the time you watch this video, I would bet you this is probably like $3 or something. It's probably going to be the cheapest version of the card until we get, until we move past this and people start actually looking for these. But I would expect that to be about $5. So we got these two, and then of course the Ur Dragon. The Ur Dragon's a little weird because it's so popular that I think that it's probably still going to hold its value. I don't think it's going to drop as much, or if it does, it won't drop for very long. Kind of like the first sliver did. The first sliver dropped down to $15 for the Future Sight version, and then within a day it was back up to like $25. And I know that because I wish I would have bought one. But right now there's 10 listings. It's at $67. It's not going to stay at that price. The Secret Lair version of the Ur Dragon, which is like an old Secret Lair, that's $71. Most of the regular Ur Dragons, though, are $38, $40. The borderless is $46. People are going to be looking for something fancy, and this is foil and it's unique. So it's possible that this sells for more than what these regular cards are. But even at the base price of $38, which is what all of the cheapest ones are selling for, I mean, we're talking 38, 5. Like it starts to really add up. And these are just the promo cards. Like I said, I think this Ur Dragon's going to hold the value for this whole festival in a box, kind of long term. I think it's going to help prop it up, because that is, even compared to the past festival in a boxes, that's probably one of the best promo cards you're going to get. Then we have the Secret Lair that came with it. So we got Sliver Legion, Sylvan Offering, Shared Summons, Pack Rat, and then this island. And this island, we can check the price of this island, but some of these, in fact, I think most of these, at least right now, can't be scanned. Same thing with these, I can't scan them in. These, the prices are going to fluctuate. I think these are going to be pretty popular. These are really cool looking arts, honestly. And this Sliver Legion, I mean, not only is it foil with cool art, but it's a popular card as well. But this island is interesting because we already looked up the forest before, and the forest was selling for $23. I don't know why I just typed in forest. So this island is not as expensive as the forest currently, but it's selling for $22. There's only 41 listings available. This festival in a box hitting the market is going to help, but these are pretty sought after, and I think that they're going to hold value quite a bit. I think we might see them drop with this, but I do think they're going to hold value long term. This alone is going to be worth some money to the right people. The thing is they're so cool, I just wish that they were. Wish it was a layer. I wish it was something that we got the market flooded a little bit more. I don't want them to be cheap, but I want to be able to run these, like a whole set of these. It'd be really cool to run a whole set of these lands for my whatever deck that I'm building, And you just at $20 a land, you're just not going to be able to do that, Unless, I guess maybe if you're running only like one or two basics of each color, you might be able to get away with it in a deck, but I'm not normally doing that, not at the power level I'm building. So, that said, Pack Rat, I know that's not an expensive card. We'll check it real quick. So to give you an example, Pack Rat, the original, so the anime one from Ravnica Remastered, the non-foil version of those is selling for $267, and the foil is for $443. And I think this is better than that. If nothing else, I would put it on the same level. So I don't imagine that the Secret Lair version is going to sell any less than that. And that card is continuing to go up in price. The Shared Summons, this one is selling, this version right now has 9 listings. It's still new, $7.42. It's going to go down. Cheapest versions of it, the list reprint is $1.09, so it's not all that crazy. But this is also the only borderless version of this card that's on out there. That might help things a little bit. So it remains to be seen. I don't know how popular the card is, to be honest, but probably can land in somewhere between the three to four. I would guess once we get past the flood. I mean, let's be honest. As it sits right now, we are so far past, making our money back. Not too big of a deal. Sylvan Offering, this is similar, really. So right now it's $8.83. There's only 8 listings of this. But the original cards, all of the variations of that, which, by the way, mostly come in Commander decks, they're like 16 cents to 50 cents. And none of those are borderless. None of them are extended art. None of them are fancy at all. Same art on all of them, but except for one. So if somebody wanted to build a deck with a Sylvan Offering and they wanted to bling it out, this is going to be the only option to bling it out, just like this one. So while the regular cards are 16 cents, keep in mind that there is just not another option for that card. So that's going to help its value long term. But it also means it might be a really good option to be able to pick up once the flood happens, once the prices drop, because people are going to be looking at this and saying, well, why do I want to spend that much money on a Sylvan Offering, right? But then later on, when they need one, they want a fancy one, that's going to be the only option. And then we got Sliver Legion. Everybody knows this card, right? This is like one of the few good Sliver cards that wasn't in the pre-con. It's a good upgrade for your pre-cons. It has been in a Secret Lair before, but it's in kind of a unique Secret Lair. So like it came out back in the day and with Future Sight. They reprinted it again in Time Spiral Remastered. So that was the latest reprint of it. And then it does have a Judge promo, which is just outrageously priced. You're not going to get that. Not going to want to worry about that one. But the cheapest version of the card, believe it or not, are the Secret Lairs. So like the original Future Sight one, the market price is $62. Time Spiral is $64. The Secret Lairs, because they're kind of unique in their artwork, they're cheaper. One of them is $55.95 and the other is $44.70. If you've not seen them, so there was an Extra Life Secret Lair. They used to have kids draw out a design, and then they would have an artist take that design and make it into a real, well, I should say real art, but they would do up the art, right? And so then they would print both versions of the card, and you get the kids, crayon version or whatever it is, and then you get the other one. But they always end up being some wild looking, like, weird shape and stuff like that, and that's why I think that people aren't necessarily a big fan of this one, which is ironic because the kids drawing one is probably my favorite one as far as my favorite, like my level of goofiness. That said, this is the only borderless one, and this one's pretty freaking cool looking, you know? So I don't imagine that this is going to drop down too much in price. Currently, there's 11 of them listed. They're selling for $88, and they're going up in price from what I've seen so far. Like, they're selling right away at that price. I think 88's high, but I don't think it's all that crazy when you think about paying $64 for one from Time Spiral. You know, this is a pretty cool looking, especially if you're running this as your commander. So this is gonna be a $60, $70 card easily, especially once they go away. In fact, once these thin out and you don't see them on the market as much, once we're a year past this, unless they reprint Sliver Legion again, which wouldn't surprise me, this could be pretty sought after. It might actually be, I wouldn't say up into the Judge promos levels, but it might be pretty darn expensive. Like, I think this is a card that you're probably going to be happy that you hang on to. With that in mind, I mean, we're looking, especially with this island, we're looking at what, let's see, I said 60, 20, and we're looking at another like $70, $80. That's pretty crazy for the secret lair to come along with the mystery box. Like, if you're like me and you hesitate and you're like, I don't know if I want to buy the factory festival in the box, next time if you see something like this, a good card on the promo, a good card in the secret lair, buy it up. I think it's going to be worth it. And frankly, if you've watched my channel, I've yet to open up one of these mystery booster boxes and not do well with one. And I say that, and this one obviously is the best one that I've ever opened, right? $400 and stuff that was over $1. 470 in total value. That's crazy, especially when you can buy them for $260. I mean, you think about it. There's a lot of collector boosters you're not opening up to see that kind of value. And this is basically a collector booster without all the fancy artwork as far as value goes. That said, what's crazy to me is that you can open one of these mystery boxes and do better. You can do a lot better. Like, I did not open, like I did open good cards. I did hit a few good cards. Specifically, I got 2 foils. That makes a big difference if they're good foils, which I got 2 foils last time, but they were both bad, not expensive foils. This time, they're both good foils, but they're not the best foils. There's the other cards. There's the Urza. You can pull a $300 Urza on top of all this, and it wouldn't be that crazy. So keep that in mind. Also, you can also have bad luck. I'm not saying that it's going to be perfect, but that's not been my experience so far. Anyhow, I've talked way too long on this video. This is going to be extremely long. I am very sorry for the wait at this point, but we should probably finish this up, right? So, as it sits right now, just to give you an idea where we're at, because these videos are always posted up so late, Spider-Man hasn't come out yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to buy any Spider-Man. If I do, it'll be probably one box. So that remains to be seen. We don't actually have any. I take that back. My wife still hasn't opened up a Phyrexia box. So we have one box to open up, but we don't have any big plans. We don't have anything coming. But we do have some secret lairs upcoming. They've already announced the upcoming Spider-Man secret lair, which I am interested in. They've also announced the Play-Doh collab and the Extra Life, which my wife and I are both interested. In fact, I'm thinking we're going to get her one, we're going to get me one, a foil one, and then I'm going to get one more non-foil because I've got a whole deck, like almost all the cards in it go in the deck. And so I don't want to buy the lair and just completely blow it out and use it all right away. I might end up picking up 2 of them. They are $10 more than normal lairs, but I'm considering it. We'll see. With the Spider-Man lair as well, I might talk myself out of doing that. We'll see. But so next time you see us, it'll probably be a box of Phyrexial will be one, or it'll be one of those layers. Or it might just be another mail day, because I got a lot of those coming up as well. Until next time, though, this is Binder. As always, thank you for watching, especially when I've been so winded and talking so much like I have been today. And to put us in your binder, make sure you like and subscribe, ring the bell to be notified, and you can catch us on our social media, which is down in the description below. Hope you guys have a great day. I appreciate you guys watching, especially if you've made it this far. I can't imagine very many of you have, but I appreciate it. It means a lot. Have a great day. Bye.